everybody? Welcome back to our podcast, episode number 57. Today, we're going to talk about two court cases that happened on the supreme level, Engel versus Vitale and Wisconsin versus Yoder. My name is Diego Revelo, and I'm joined by
On a con.
the GOAT. And it's basically how I said, we're just going to be talking about two court cases. We're also going to be playing chess because why not? Um, Without further ado, I think we get started. Say the line, bro.
Oh, let's get these brain cows milked. Yeah.
All right. So, first of all, Engel versus Vitale. This court case was argued back in April 3rd, 1962, and was decided all the way back in June 25th, 1962. I don't know why I said all the way back. The Chief Justice was Hugo L. Black, and the author of dissent was Potter Stewart. Um, Basically, what happened in the case is that the New York Board of Regents, which is the agency that overlooks the education department in the city of New York, authorized and greenlighted a prayer that students could partake in, along with the Pledge of Allegiance. And a lot of people took issue with this because they felt that it violated their rights. And one person named, let me see what their name is, Stephen Engel, sued to the court level, saying that their First Amendment rights were violated because their kid was going to the school that um, gave them the option to say the prayer. Uh, in the end, the court ruling was that states do not have the power to hold prayers in public schools, regardless of non-mandatory participation. Um, and the author of dissent, Justice Stewart, said that he argued that no official religion was established by permitting those who wanted to say a prayer to say it. So that's pretty much the basics of this case. It just had to do with First Amendment rights and specifically the religion part. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna pass it on to Anik with Wisconsin versus Yoder.
Wisconsin versus Yoder was argued in December 8th, 1971, and decided in May 15th, 1972. Jonas Yoder, Wallace Miller, and Aidan Yutzi are members of the Amish faith. They are all being prosecuted for requiring all their children. They're all prosecuted under a Wisconsin law
Make your move.
that required all children to attend a public school until the age of 16 because they refused to send their kids to school after the 8th grade for religious reasons. Yoder argued that this policy conflicts with their religious beliefs and therefore violated their religious freedoms. The author of Majority is Warren E. Berger. Author of Dissent is William O. Douglas. And this really begs the question: did Wisconsin's requirement that all parents send their children to school at least until the age of 16 violate the First Amendment by criminalizing the conduct of parents who refuse to send their kids to school for religious reasons?
It's
The
okay, by the way.
conclusion is that the
It's okay,
freedom
by
of
the way.
religion clause under the First Amendment outweighed the state laws requiring children to attend the public school beyond the 8th grade. That's basically the basics of Wisconsin versus Yoder. So I'm going to pass it to Diego for.
Okay, so how these two cases are similar is that they both have to do with the First Amendment and also the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, which was that you cannot force religions onto others. Um, but in Engel versus Vatale's case, is that schools couldn't authorize those prayers, and in Wisconsin versus Yoder, uh, they let um, the people of Amish faith have their kid not go to school because of their religion. So these two are pretty much similar in that way. And I'm gonna pass it on to Anik with the relation to the First Amendment.
Uh, they both scrutinize the First Amendment freedom of religion because they both question whether the government has the power to supersede the people's freedom of religion. And now I'm going to pass it on to Diego.
Okay. And last but not least, let's talk about our opinions on the case. So what I think in Engel versus Vattel is that I feel like it was constitutional because the children had a choice of doing it. They were not being forced to. And Wisconsin versus Yoder, I actually agree with the majority opinion because you can let other people have their religion um, without the government intervening, and I feel like that's pretty important with how the United States, the framers shaped the Bill of Rights. So I can pass it on to Anik with his opinions.
So basically, I feel like in hold on, let me get the copy. I feel like in Engel versus Vitali, it was constitutional for the prayers because, as Diego said, they had a choice in the matter. It's not like they were forced into praying, even if it wasn't their religious faith. But for Wisconsin versus Yoder, I feel like that it. I agree with the majority opinion and the conclusion, or I don't agree with the majority opinion and the conclusion because it still restricts the child's ability to get an education, which I feel like is super important, not only for their own futures, but also for their own social life and what ideas they're going to get in the future.
Okay, and so all in all, these two cases were very important because it set a precedent of what schools have to follow in order to not be, violating the First Amendment and violating, people's rights of freedom of religion. Any other closing thoughts, Anik?
Not really. Basically, the same thing you said.
Right, right, right. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. Next time, we're going to be talking about other cases, and I will see you in the next one. You got six. You got 6 seconds left, bro.
No, 0.6 seconds. There's a difference.
Well. Oh, damn, you lost. That's
Oh,
crazy.
I lost in 0.6 seconds.
What? 6. I didn't even see that. I thought it was 6 seconds.